is your name? They're always glad you came.
Uh-oh. What? What's wrong?
And so while I believe personally that we should be pursuing and investigating quite flagrant, but we also need to move quite quickly because we're talking about the potential compromise of the 2020 elections. And so this is not just about something that has occurred. This is about preventing a potentially disastrous outcome from occurring next year.
So thank all of you. Happy Valentine's Day. We saluted our victory, or the victory for the American people, earlier with chocolate. Chocolate from California. I call it the champagne of chocolate. And so, again, I wish you all happy Thanksgiving.
Huh? My Twitter mentions I'm getting a lot of references about cow farts. And I think that's a reference to your Green New Deal.
Yes.
Can you explain that for us?
We got to address factory farming. Maybe we shouldn't be eating a hamburger for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Green New Deal, some of which will be consistent with some of what's in the Green Deal, New Green Deal.
And so it's basically like there's scientific consensus that the lives of children are going to be very difficult. And it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. You know, is it okay to still have children? And people are trying to introduce watered down proposals that are frankly going to kill us. The way I feel about it is, first and foremost, we have to empower and center the people of Venezuela. This is really an issue of a failure of democracy.
Green Deal that wants a 70% tax rate, that wants jobs for everybody, even if you just hand it to you, that just tuition, hand it to you. Socialism. We are in a dangerous place, and if people in the party don't start to speak up against people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is young and dynamic, but does not know what she's talking about, and her cohorts, some of these new, fresh, progressive faces, are going to hand the presidency back to Donald Trump.
No, because the protests that we saw were to get on the AOC's bandwagon. And what's shocking to me is yet once again she shows how little she understands not just economics, but even unemployment. She's the one who said the reason unemployment is so low is because a lot of people have 2 jobs. She needs to learn basic things about what to be a representative.
We need to invent technology that's never even been invented yet.
Hi, barkeep. How much for a beer? It's gratis. Ooh, that sounds expensive.
So this is a very important legislation. We have the 6 appropriations bills. That were not agreed to.
Maybe we shouldn't drink.
When I was Speaker, my flagship issue under President Bush was climate, addressing the climate crisis.
No way, I need booze, man.
This has to do with I see everything as an opportunity. This is an opportunity once again to declare strongest possible opposition to anti-Semitism.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
This beer smells funky.
For bipartisan, bicameral luncheon to honor St. Patrick and
Ooh. I'll get you a freshie.
That's something that in both of those areas, lowering prescription drug prices and building infrastructure, 2 areas that the president has said he wants to work on together. So we're moving in that direction in a bipartisan way.
I just figured she was a raging alcoholic.
Oh, it's unrealistic. Oh, it's vague. Oh, it doesn't address this little minute thing. And I'm like, you try. You do it. Right. Because you're not. Because you're not. So until you do it, I'm the boss. How about that?
Okay.
It's a signal for your brain.
Wow.
Mr. Sloan, why was the bank involved in the caging of children and financing the caging of children to begin with?
I don't know how to answer that question because we weren't.
The meh is like worship now for what? Like for what?
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.